2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See our teppanyaki chefs grill your food to order, or choose delicious Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Worried your tenants could stop paying their rent during this cost of living crisis? Next Move Estate and Letting Agents are offering landlords 12 months rent in advance. You'll get your rent paid for the whole year in advance. No strings attached. Too good to be true? It really is that simple. So get in touch with us today for this extremely limited offer. Call Next Move now on 01733 641 642 to find out how we can help.
Visit our website salamradio.co.uk.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You are listening to the Tech Factor live on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. As I said, welcome to the Tech Factor, your go-to source for the latest in technology trends and discussions. I'm your host, Akeel Khalil, and today we have an exciting show lined up for you. Stick around as we delve into the world of cybersecurity, share some cool, funny tech stories, and engage with you. Without further ado, let's dive into the tech universe. And joining me in the studio are two tech-savvy co-hosts, Faisal and Shamshad. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, good, thank you very much.
And we didn't have Sham last time, did we?
No.
Do you feel suitably defragged for tonight's show?
I'm fragged, definitely. No, only fragged.
Fantastic. It's great to have you back, by the way. It's really good to see you again. So our first topic this evening is cybersecurity. An introduction of what it is, how does it affect you, and how it will affect your life in the future and for many generations to come. And it revolves around the ever important subject of the digital landscape, which is evolving rapidly. It's crucial to say that we need to stay informed and we need to stay secure. So joining us to shed a light on this matter is a renowned security expert, Joel Babb. But before we bring Joel into the conversation, Faisal and Shamshad, what are your initial thoughts on the state of cybersecurity today?
Okay, from my point of view, I think it's mainly due to lack of education, lack of awareness of how to secure devices and apps and so on, and knowing what's available, what kind of software is available and services are available to secure that.
I'd say getting it into the kids early on and best practices.
Okay.
And I think that's a really good thing to do.
Great, thank you for that. Now let's welcome our guest, Joel Babb, a seasoned cybersecurity expert and ethical hacker with an extensive background in securing digital landscapes. Joel has over 20 years of experience in IT and cybersecurity and has planned and simulated cyber attacks on companies worldwide, with the aim of identifying vulnerabilities and fortifying the resilience of his clients' digital infrastructure. Joel's prior experience on the other side of the fence as CTO responsible for running an IT department and more gives him deep insight into the business impact of cyber vulnerabilities and an appreciation for the specific challenges faced by his clients' IT departments. Welcome, Joel.
Hi there. Welcome, everyone.
Great to have you on the show this evening. So, Joel, could you share a little bit about your experience in this field?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been now in. Akeel said nearly everything for me with their profile. There's very, very good introduction. Really happy to be here. So, thank you very much for the invite. I think that what people need to focus on, what you just asked the two guys here, you know, they made some really, really good points there. I think that cybersecurity does affect everyone, and it can affect everyone of all ages. And I definitely think that there needs to be a good promotion around the awareness of cybersecurity and how to be safe out there when surfing the internet and dealing with your day-to-day businesses.
Great. I can't help but feel, I mean, obviously I've known you for a long time personally as well. So, Joel, you know, I have to ask you, you know, how did you get started in cybersecurity? What was it about cybersecurity that piqued your interest? Did something happen to you? I mean, how did it all start? How did the journey start?
Yeah, so the journey actually into cybersecurity started around about 4 years ago. But prior to that, I've studied hard, college, university. You know, you've got to stay in school, got to get that good foundation behind you. You've got to be really motivated and disciplined when it comes to learning something technical like IT or cybersecurity, and basically just worked my way up through the ranks. So started off as sort of network technician, moved up to IT manager, and then eventually CTO of a business. And it was at that point I felt that I wanted to then branch out into something else. And because I'd had such a good grounding, such a good technical knowledge of running IT departments, running networks, and the business needs and risk that comes with that, I felt that moving into cybersecurity 4 years ago was a great thing for me to do. So hit the books, studied hard, spent 2 years studying, getting qualifications, getting more understanding about cybersecurity specifically, then started to look for jobs, thinking about what transferable skills you might have. So you've got to be good with people as well as good with technology. And then just made the jump, and yeah, been really, really happy since. So
it was a good move then.
Very good move.
Brilliant. I mean, obviously we know that the world is fast changing, rapidly changing, and there is definitely a need for ethical hackers around the world. I mean, you know, if you look at just from business resilience perspective, I guess, but more than that, obviously, with the technologies fast moving along, every day there's something new that's out there. So, no, I can understand that. And do you feel now where you are now, this was not just a good career move for you, but do you feel like this is going to elevate your skill set much further than you initially anticipated? Or is not as much as you thought it was going to be?
No, I think that the sort of the glass ceiling within IT can be reached very, very quickly. You know, if you're sort of first, second, third line technician, or if you're IT manager, the way that one company's IT departments run is very similar to the way another IT departments run. But with cybersecurity, with an ever-evolving landscape, you've got to stay on top of new technologies, new hacks, you know, new ways of doing things all the time, and that's what makes it really exciting as an industry to be in.
Is it anything like the movies, Joel? It's just the way you describe that. So I'm thinking, okay, so I've seen a fair amount of movies and I've seen a fair amount of, you know, cyber attacks and so on. Is it like the movies? Is there a scenario that you've come across and voila, you've thought, okay, I mean, like, what's one of those Tom Cruise movies?
Do you have a black screen with green text
there we go.
down?
Yeah, you do actually. Yeah. So from a screening kind of point of view and the way they portray it,
not the Matrix.
Yeah, you are kind of just working all the time. You know, you've not got any kind of nice, you know, point and click GUIs and stuff like that. You are working on, you know, like a green text screen or whatever. So lots of our tools are based around sort of command line tools and things like that. Absolutely. 10, 15 years ago, it was a little bit more like the Wild West out there, but obviously as technology has evolved, things have got harder to hack, and you've got to do different things and different approaches with that. So it's a little less like the movie. The movies are still sort of stuck that 10, 15 years ago kind of things.
There's more stages to like hacking now, isn't there? It's not just like about a matter of just getting the password, is it?
The easiest thing to do right now, because of better firewalls, better computers, better antivirus software, and things like that. I mean, if you're, it's social engineering. It's attacking the human element of anything to do with the cybersecurity side of things. If you're attacking the human and you're asking them for their password, you're asking them to log in for you. That's the bit that is tricky to guard against.
The weakest link.
Okay, so actually that segues nicely into something that I came across. Okay, so I didn't know about this before, but late last year, I think it was mid to late last year, I was saying to Sham, hey, I've come across this cool YouTube video. He said, oh, what's that? And I said, it's called Payback, Scammers Payback or something. And I come across these guys who were like ethical hackers, and they were effectively...
Fantastic guys.
Exactly. So, and they were like vigilantes in the cyber world, and they were effectively reversing these attacks, finding out who these people were, attacking people exactly the way you've just described, which is the weakest link. A human being is taking they have a problem that comes on their PC, a message, an email, a link, or whatever it may be. They click on it thinking it's legitimate. They go through to a call center in a different country, and then they're guided to give out that key piece of information which opens the door.
And that's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly what social engineering is. That's how the MGM Grand got hacked late last year. It was through a phone call to a technical support desk, and they tricked that technical support desk into clicking a link, which injected software onto their network, and then that was it. The door was open, and quite a lot of the hacks now, are starting at that point and then progressing by deploying ransomware or software within that business by attacking the weakest link, which is always the human.
I suppose technical support would be the right place because they would have the better permissions than your normal end user.
Yeah, and obviously since COVID, because everyone then works from home, your technical support centre has to have like a public accessible phone number. So they can access, there's a lot more telephone calls and things like that going on, where before it was all very insular, it was very inside your own business. You'd walk to your technical support desk and ask them, but now you're at home, you have to phone them. So again, it opens the door more for that social engineering, for people, hackers, to call up and say, click on this link, I can't log in, and that kind of thing.
What are your thoughts on cybersecurity? Have you got any questions for Joel? You can reach out to us.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salaam Radio.
Yeah, question I've got for you, Joel, is do you think, I remember when I was back at uni and hacking was, you're basically using Telnet and tools like that. And what I noticed over time was there's hackers out there, they're designing the tools. So they're making, a password cracker or something available. And then the guys who are, they're basically selling these tools. So rather than doing the hacking themselves, they're designing the tools.
Like the Flipper Zero.
Yeah, or they're giving the instructions and then somebody else is actually executing. Do you think that is still the case where it's not actually the computer experts are doing the scams, but it's a different set of people that are doing it?
Yeah, it is. No, you're absolutely right. So actually, most of the tools that we use are open source. They are, freely available on the internet, on GitHub. You can download, hacking operating systems for free, set up your own laptop, start playing about with it, and off you go. There's lots of free resources out there for people that are looking to get into cybersecurity or start to do hacking, where you can just learn. You can spin up virtual machines and you can follow a walkthrough or have a go at hacking them yourselves, and it's all out there for free. Yeah. And so everything is kind of open source that we use. There's a few bits of software that we do have to pay for, but that's actually in the minority. And lots of software that businesses are deploying to look for these scanning softwares and hacking pieces of software. If you have the ability to code your own with a different footprint or a different digital signature, that can quite often bypass lots of antivirus products, lots of sort of other detection products as well that you've got running on your network, because they're looking for things that are readily available, that are already digitally footprint or signed. Unknown, exactly. So if you can actually code your own and write your own program, do a similar job but in a slightly different way, then you could circumnavigate
At
those.
least staying longer.
Sorry?
At the least staying longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, staying longer, yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I don't know if you heard the Flipper Zero.
I haven't heard of that one, though.
It's a little device you can get, and it's like, as it is on its own, it's not a nefarious device. But like you said,
yes,
you can. It's an open source thing as well, so you can connect all kinds of other, like an antenna or all kinds of other programs in there as well. And with that, you can hack people's signals. So, for example, someone could have one of them with the antenna on there, go outside your house, scan your car keys signal, go up to your car, and unlock your car and drive off a bit.
Yeah, so we use one called a rubber ducky, which is a similar sort of thing. And there's other devices for sort of gathering people's Wi-Fi credentials and things like that, called a pineapple. And the one thing that cybersecurity really enjoys is giving things quirky names.
Yeah.
So
are we going to get a kebab soon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Joel, just had a question coming from Peter, and he says, what are the most common cybersecurity threats individuals face today?
Without a doubt, it's phishing. So email phishing is still one of the biggest priorities out there for personal people, personal and business users as well. Closely followed for the business users by the injection of ransomware. Now, ransomware can be extremely painful for a business to recover from and extremely costly as well. So without a shadow of a doubt, Peter, is phishing.
Thank you.
Just wanted to add to that, that's phishing with a PH.
Phishing with a PH,
Yeah, and I've found that it's actually increased in the last few months. Even in our company, my colleagues are getting emails from me. It looks like it's from me, but it's not.
You sure?
It's definitely not from me. And it says something like, can you let me know how do we make faster payments? Something simple like that. And one of our colleagues, she says, did you actually ask me this on an email? It doesn't sound like you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not me.
Yeah.
And although we've got all this scanning stuff set up, in Office Microsoft 365, everything set up, still some of this stuff's coming through. And I've noticed in the last few months, more of these type of emails are coming through.
Yeah. What I'd love to do as a hacker, actually, and one of my attack vectors for that is actually to hack into your Office 365 Outlook, set up my own account, and phish you from your own Office 365 account.
Oh, he's geeking out now. Oh, yes.
Can you just, for anybody that's listening that doesn't know what phishing is, just give a quick...
Yeah, so phishing is an email that is pretending to be someone you might know. So someone that you trust. So that might be your boss or your uncle or your dad or whoever it might be. And what that phishing email is doing is it's going to ask you to click on a link, and that link is going to be malicious. So it's either going to steal your credentials by asking you to input a username and a password, or it's going to download some sort of rogue virus software or ransomware actually onto your machine and allow a hacker to access your machine. There's also two other variations of that. One's called vishing with a V, and that's voice phishing, which is what we do when we phone people up and try and get those details from you. And then there's another one called smishing, which is SMS phishing. So that's when you get a text message that contains a link. So one that's really common at the moment is, we try to deliver your parcel, click on the link to rearrange it.
I had that the other day, actually.
Everyone's got a parcel come in at one point or another.
Yeah, or the other classic one I always see is, when you've got to do your tax return around about that time. It's like HMRC's, you've got a tax refund or something, and please click this link to claim your money back. And you think, HMRC never gives back any money. Normally, what's going on here?
Okay, so
I suppose it's more about having the right mindset, isn't it? Like changing, not taking anything for face value that you see, especially like digital emails, messages, anything that's digital, not taking it for face value. It's that mindset, isn't it?
That's exactly right. Yeah, you trust no one.
Scrutinising it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on this? Have you been scammed like this before? Have you had an experience with a phishing attack? Get in touch. I'm sure if you have any questions or comments for Joel, you can contact us through our social media channels.
Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
So, Joel, can you share a memorable experience where effective cybersecurity measures prevented a major threat?
Can I think of what can I? I'm trying to think of something that I can talk about that isn't going to breach any kind of confidentiality or NDA.
Hey, listen, you can sign an NDA right now on air if you like. It's fine. While we've just been talking about phishing. Yeah. Okay, while you think of that, Joel, I mean, what about yourself? I mean, you're in this game as well, Faisal. Is there anything that you can, any memorable experiences where you yourself, your team, or perhaps you experienced it?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of things that I've experienced in the past is, items being delivered to my house that I've not ordered, and I think, where's this come from? So somewhere's hacked into the Amazon system. I mean, that's where the items came from. And I thought, well, free items. But it turns out they weren't free items. Somehow they've got into, created another account using my card details or something. And I'm getting deliveries. And you think, why would they want to deliver these items? So I rang up Amazon and they said, look, we'll change your password or whatever it is. But I'm 100% certain it's not my password because I've got this two-factor authentication and everything set up. But, I got my money back instantly. But it just goes to show that what's the reasoning behind some of these scams. Sometimes we're not aware.
Yeah.
And the sophistication of it. But in terms of what sticks out in my mind, I think it was quite a few years ago where, because I do quite a bit of work in hospitals, where their systems were actually held for ransom. This was a major thing in the NHS, and I'll never forget that. And I always thought, if an organisation like that can be hacked, it's possible that anyone can be hacked.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I do recall that it was in the news as well, wasn't it, when the NHS was attacked as well. So come on then, Joel, don't hide.
No,
spill the beans.
Interestingly, touching on sort of the Amazon side of things, one thing that does stick out in my mind a little bit, which I think quite a few people can relate, is if you've got rental properties and you've got different tenants moving in and out of them, perhaps every 6 months or a year or whatever, if you're still getting mail in your name being sent to that house, they're going to be able to open that mail, take your name, take your address, start registering phones in your name, and Amazon accounts in your name and all that kind of stuff. So again, it's about trying not to leave a paper trail. It's trying to keep your privacy private, without exposing too much, out there. Yeah,
I mean, that segues nicely into, emerging technologies like AI and IoT, which have an impact in the cybersecurity landscape. From your perspective, from your experience, these two technologies themselves, how is that changing the landscape? Is it becoming more difficult to manage? Is it much more of an open field? Have we got locked devices, locked environments? Can you share a little bit more information about it?
Yeah, so I think that AI opens a lot of doors for a lot of mischief. Whether it's sort of like deep fake videos and that kind of thing. Going back to sort of one of the examples within sort of phishing and the vishing side of it, where we're using our voice. With AI, you can change your voice to sound like someone. So again, if you have uploaded, we're talking on the radio now, if someone's recording our voices, we can put that through an AI synthesizer, and I can end up making a phone call to my parents, to someone else's, to a business. I'm going to sound like me. We're going to follow a script, and that's going to make it a lot harder, because again, when these hackers and people are phoning people up, you can say, well, you don't sound like, you don't sound like my brother, you don't sound like my uncle, what do you want about, kind of thing. But with AI technology, if they can craft emails, or they can change voices, or if they can upload deep fakes, and things like that, then that's a real issue, because then you're talking about lots of other nasty things like blackmailing, when it comes to deep fake videos and things like that. And like I said, phoning up, you're more likely to respond to someone that you recognise. And that's one of the big dangers, I think, with AI coming up.
Good shout.
Yeah, I think with things like that, the only ways where you've got companies like OpenAI and Adobe and all these big players who are allowing these users to use these technologies is that they should put some sort of fingerprint in those files, which shows this is AI generated content. And then us as consumers, we should have some sort of detectors, So if we receive a phone call, it should be able to detect actually this is not a legitimate something. So I think
So there's like a screening phase.
Yeah, you know how we've got virus
Yeah,
checkers. We
yeah.
need to have some sort of checker which will check this isn't real.
It's funny
Do
you
know
say
what I
that
mean?
because you know the Samsung S24 Ultra, that's got AI built in it. And I recall when I was watching one of those very famous YouTubers doing a review of it, and he said that once it produces the image, however you've rendered it using AI, at the I think the bottom left of the image, it says, this was, created by AI or something. But the flaw was you can then crop that out.
Yeah.
Right, and then the bit that you just mentioned just there about voice as well. I mean, Apple's got it in iPhone 15. I think it's iOS 17 now. You can literally record your voice. You have to say like 150 words or something, and then it stores your voice. And then the idea is, I think it's underneath the accessibility option, and it's designed that if you lost your voice or whatever, you can still use your device to create those commands. And I know it's
Like text to speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and all of these are the foundational steps into what you're describing. And what Faisal just said there as well about companies like Adobe and so on, all of the big players in the market, they're literally using us as guinea pigs so that they can have all that data. I mean, if you look carefully at ChatGPT, it blew up the market. And it had the best marketing ever. It was free. You could go there and it was like, oh, I can do my CV quickly, or I can email quickly. So all of a sudden, millions of people. Do you remember when you first started using it? It kept crashing because too many people were trying to use it. Okay, they didn't have enough server support, etc., etc., etc. And then so they've scaled it. But the point is, they won the race based on the amount of users they've got. Everybody else has come afterwards.
Free testers, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's that free testing phase.
Yeah, and I think the scary thing with this, I was reading it a few days ago, is disinformation. So, we've got the elections coming up. What kind of impact could this kind of technology have where someone could put fake content about the local MPs or councillors or whatever, and that could change people's mindset on who they're going to vote. So it could have serious impacts.
Well, it has. It's funny you should say that. Keir Starmer, they've done a deep fake of him. Sadiq Khan, they did a deep fake of him. But if you're not in tune in the digital world, when you first watch something like that before it gets corrected, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he did this, right? I think just the other day I was listening to a audio file of one of these politicians, and for a split second I thought, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. But he didn't. It was fake. And same thing with Taylor Swift with the images as well.
I was going to say that I think these big companies that you mentioned as well, I think, and I'm sure they're doing it as well, they need to have discussions around this of how to leave like a tag or a marker on these kinds of things.
Yeah, there are companies that specialize. There's a company, Sensity, that I'm aware of, but there's others as well, which will actually detect content. If it is deepfake, obviously they'll test the frames or whatever it is. There'll be something that's left in the file which means that it's not real.
But I guess what we're saying is we want this to be more in real time, right?
Yeah, so when someone uploads something on Facebook or whatever, Facebook should have that detection tool in there.
Yeah, so they currently have it for audio. Do you know this? Obviously, when you create a bit of content, it could be a video, like we're on air right now, we slap on a Michael Jackson song or whatever. As soon as you upload it, it will say, well, you don't have the rights to this.
Yeah.
And then you have to do you have to say, oh, I do.
Yeah.
Do you foresee that we would have something like that in the future?
Yeah, the reason that works is you've got a database of tracks from record companies. So this is something similar where if a content is generated, which is fake, then there's technology out there which will detect that this is fake. But it's up to the the providers of social media or whatever to actually incorporate that technology, which I think they will.
Yeah. If they've done it for audio, I think it's a race. It really is, of course, as ever with new technologies and such like. And I think it's just a fascinating time to be alive, to be quite honest with you. But hey, we're headed into a short break, but stick around. After the break, we'll be sharing some tech tips and the coolest tech stories of the week. You won't want to miss it. I can guarantee you that. Thank you. See you soon.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
Could you spare a few hours each month to provide support to people who are going through tough times? If so, Peterborough Samaritans are looking for volunteers who are empathetic and open-minded, and we'd love to hear from you. We run regular information sessions where you can find out more about what it means to volunteer for Samaritans. If you are at least 18 years of age and would like to know more, please email volunteer@peterboroughsamaritans.org.
Attention foodies! Discover a world of flavours at Pack Foods, the largest ethnic supermarket in Peterborough. Shop our vast selection of authentic ingredients from around the globe, including spices, marinated fish and meats, and exotic fruits at incredibly low prices. And the best part? We offer free parking. No more hunting for a spot. Come visit us today and explore the incredible range of flavours at Pack Foods, 232 Lincoln Road.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh cream cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakein.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
Satisfy your cravings at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant. Enjoy a tantalising variety of Chinese, Italian, Pakistani and comfort food favourites, from starters to desserts. Kids under 5 dine for free, so bring the whole family to our location at 63 Sycamore Avenue. Open every day from 5 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. Call us on 01733 313131 or book online to reserve your table. Ibrahimi-restaurant.co.uk. Every bite is a delight at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant.
Fancy the true taste of Middle Eastern Kurdish food? Asia Restaurant gives you the unique fusion of flavours from Turkey, Iraq, Syria and Iran. Eat in at 5 Fitzwilliam Street, Peterborough, PE1 2RU. Or order through Just Eat, Uber Eats or order through our website, asiarestaurant.co.uk. Call us on 01733 562 530. Asia Restaurant, the true taste of the Middle East.
Discover peace of mind with Islamic wills from W&P Legal and Mariam Khan. Expertly tailored to respect Islamic principles and UK law, ensuring your legacy is honoured. We offer tax-efficient wills, probate, lasting power of attorney and more. Trust us for a culturally sensitive estate plan. Your legacy, our priority. Call W&P Legal now on 01778 252 301.
In the heart of Peterborough, this is Salaam Radio.
Welcome back to the Tech Factor. If you're just joining us, don't worry. You can catch up on our social media channels, everything from Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. And we were talking about cybersecurity with our resident expert here, Joel Babb, who is also an ethical hacker. So there is some interesting tips and advice that Joel was sharing with us previously. So do catch up. So we're going to continue actually with this subject of cybersecurity as well. So Joel, I've had a question come in from Sally. She asks, what role do individuals play in maintaining a secure digital environment?
That's a very good question from Sally there. And they have to, they play the key role because they're, the ultimate target. They are the ones that the hackers want to go. They're the ones that the hackers are going to try and incite a sense of urgency, a sense of fear or doom to get them to carry out an action. So they play an absolute key role. And what businesses can do to help their members of staff and people that are on the front line, that are answering emails, that are answering phone calls, all the things that we've talked about earlier on in the show, is training and awareness training of that. And what we actually do as ethical hackers to help businesses is we can actually simulate any kind of attack that business wants. So we can simulate an email phishing attack. We can simulate a voice phishing attack and things like that. And then what we do is we report back to the business and say, well, these are the people that need some help. These are the people that sort of, didn't click on that link. These are the people that didn't disclose their username and password and things like that. And then we can actually then provide that training to the business ourselves as ethical hackers. Or the business can take that away and they can work with their members of staff and build in resilience training and make that person on the front line way more aware of the kind of tactics that people like me use to try and get into their networks and try to get into their businesses.
Thank you. Okay, let me just slightly change that around then. Similar scenario to what Sally's asking, but I'm at home. I've got antivirus, okay? My inbox is open. I'm getting the usual shopping emails come in, and then I get an email which is slightly similar on my home PC. I open it, I download the external links so I can now see images, and it's asking me to click on this link because it's going to verify something for me. And it all looks legit. The sender information looks great. It's copied identically to what would have been legit. Okay, so it all looks legit in front of me. I've now clicked that link, and it opens up a window on a browser, and I'm still seeing what looks like a legitimate site. Okay, have I been breached at this stage?
Maybe.
Okay.
What I would advise, though, is if you do get an email that says click on this link, whether it's from your bank or whether it's from PayPal or Amazon or any of the company that you're dealing with, if they're saying that there is a notification in your account or urgent action is required, what you're better off doing is not clicking that link at all, and it's opening a fresh browser and navigating to that site and logging in directly from your browser and not using the link within the email.
But I've opened it now, okay? And I'm looking at this site and I've not gone any further. What steps can I take now? What should I do now?
You can do a couple of things. So what I do, if you have opened that link, probably the best thing to do is close that site immediately. You could also perhaps phone the company as well. Again, not using a number that's on the site from the link, but using one that you've found independently.
Okay, I guess the reason why I'm asking you is at which point, before I've spoken to someone and given any information away, has it become critical? Is it still in an incubator phase before it's gone to that next stage?
If you've clicked on that link, you could have been breached from that point.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
without a shadow of doubt.
It's like how long's a piece of string, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It depends what they're after. Yeah. So when you clicked on that link, you everyone has like a pop up. We use cookies, accept. Yeah. That might have been something that's just downloaded in the background that you've just clicked and accepted. It could be again some sort of file that's in disguise. PDFs can contain malicious software and that kind of thing as well. So again, it depends on how the attackers formulated their attack. But pretty much from the moment that you clicked on that link, you should be and could be breached at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult question, I think, but I think from a user's point of view, is making sure you've got the latest updates on your browsers, on your emails. So if you do click on it, it kind of blocks what you need to block. But I mean, normally what I do is, I don't know if it's good enough, is just check who the email is coming from. So you click on the name, and then it tells you the email address. And sometimes if it's a dodgy one, it will have some weird email address which doesn't match the person it's coming from. So I think it's basically checking, making sure that you do check it's the person sending it to you before you click on it.
So the message, I guess, is check and then check again. Yeah. And if you're unsure, don't interact with it.
Basically, it's just to make it as hard as possible for the other party trying to get into your credentials or any of your information.
Yeah, always go direct. Don't trust the link. Always open a new browser window and navigate directly to PayPal using that. Not using the link. Even if you think it's legit, that notification or whatever is going to be within your account that you're logging into.
Okay,
that's really good advice actually going forward. That's what I'll personally do. Rather than clicking on a link, it makes sense. Just go into the website.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, I've one more question. This is from John. And John asks, are there any upcoming cybersecurity trends that people should be aware of?
We touched on it earlier on in the show. You know, the cybersecurity trends in terms of things that people should be aware of is still the social engineering side of things. You know, that's something that's not going to go away. We talked about deepfakes and things like that. So again, that is something that's going to be coming through.
Okay, thank you for that. That's great. I appreciate that. So I want to say I hope everybody's feeling a lot more educated, well versed from our guest here, Joel, in the studio, talking about everything to do with cybersecurity this evening. But if you do have any questions, you can always get in touch with the studio by calling.
To get involved, call 01733 602 133. This is Salaam Radio.
Thank you for that. Thank you everyone for the interaction so far. Really, really lots of messages coming in as well for this cybersecurity topic. But we're moving over now into a different segment. We're lightening the mood with some cool and funny tech stories. Each of us will share an interesting story, starting off with Shamshad once he gets himself ready.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So there's a couple of two actual stories that stood out for me.
Okay.
For me, what grabs my attention is something that I used to think about. Well, we're going to see this soon, or how many years is it going to take for us to get this? You know, something like that. So one of them is I don't know if you've heard of a company called Waymo. It's an American company. It hasn't come over to the UK yet, but it's basically a taxi company. In essence, really, and what they do is they've got the driverless cars. So literally, there is no driver in the car. You go on an app, and I see a video about someone doing this, and it was what's his name? Unbox Therapy.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember his name now. But yeah, so he's gone and he's called the taxi on an app, and he tells it where it is through a map and everything, and then it comes to you. Then you go up to it, and I think you have to put a code in or something, and the door opens. You jump in the back. You can't just jump in the front, and there's literally no one sitting in the front seat, but it's got a whole lot of sensors on around it. So it's not like your normal electric car, and then it literally just drives everywhere itself. You tell it where you want to go, it takes you there and drops you off, and just get out and pay digitally. That was to me, that was amazing. It's like something I used to think about when I was like 5-10 years ago.
Wow. Okay, that is really cool. Yeah. Okay, well done. You know what? That is impressive. What a start. Sham wasn't here last week or the week before, sorry, and I think he set the standard. That's the benchmark, Faisal. What you got for me? Can you beat a driverless taxi?
I didn't invent it, mate.
I don't know. Can you beat this driverless taxi?
No, I'm not sure if I can beat that one. The one I've got is Samsung XR headset, where they say it could be launching soon, according to a new report. But basically, this headset is going to cover all aspects of extended reality, which is, VR, virtual reality, mixed reality, and augmented reality. And rumors suggest that we'll see it this year.
Wow! Is there any images? What does it look like?
I've not seen any images, so this is just a description of what it will potentially what we'll see. There's details on chips that will be used. But they say it will be a rival or a cheaper rival to the Apple Vision Pro.
Well, I mean, did you see Mark Zuckerberg day before yesterday? So he's in his living room and all casual and that, and he talks about how he's reviewed the Vision Pro and how it's heavier, it's more expensive, it doesn't do this, and doesn't how Meta's product does this. It's a really good piece of marketing, I'll be quite honest with you. And obviously, price is a big thing. So I think Samsung was always going to do this. They were going to bring out their own headset because that's where the market is going to eventually go. It looks like it's going to be a little bit quicker than we thought. But Meta's business in terms of the Ray-Bans, do you recall we saw those Ray-Bans? Yeah. So we were at an airport.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
We were at an airport and we saw these, they look like normal sunglasses. And he was trying them on. And then they had these side speakers.
There was a camera on them.
There was a camera at the front, really
wide view.
Yeah, really wide view, lots of information, all that stuff, and it just looked great. I think they were $299, weren't they?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, $299, and they look great. And so because Meta's got two, it's got its headset and it's got its partnership with Ray-Ban, and now we've got Samsung coming out with their headset. Obviously there's going to be probably Xiaomi and others are going to bring something out as well. We know the Apple Vision Pro. It's at a different audience, and also is part of a bigger, its own ecosystem. And so you can see the trade-off. So Mark Zuckerberg was talking about gaming and YouTube and so on, and he talked about Windows and things like that as well. But initially, when I watched the interview, the interview, review, I thought he did a good job of actually marketing his own product.
Yeah, I think it is completely different markets though, and I remember seeing Microsoft's HoloLens 2. I think HoloLens and Vision Pro and those type of devices are aiming for a more professional market, for use cases like healthcare and technical support and so on. But there are another manufacturer I came across was TCL. Never heard of them, but they have released glasses in the past. But there's a new pair coming out, and they're priced at £399, and it's full HD. For 2D images and for 3D images is 3840 by 1080 pixels. Not quite 4K, but in between.
Oh, okay.
And 120 hertz OLED screens rather than 60 hertz. So things are moving on, but I think from what I've read is a lot of these glasses, their issues are the way they heat up. So, if you're wearing glasses and they start heating up the side of your face or your head, it's going to be uncomfortable. So I think once they've solved these kind of issues, then we'll probably see more usage.
What do you think about discussion of AR, VR, XR headsets? Would you wear one of these? Let us know.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salaam Radio.
Joel, would you wear one of these headsets?
Yeah.
Would you?
I was going to say, have you seen the videos of people using them?
They look brilliant, don't they?
On the bus,
aeroplane, in the buses, in cars. I saw this press release where Tesla wasn't testing themselves, but they were saying people were driving in their Teslas, Vision Pro's on, cars driving itself, and they're doing other stuff. I was like, oh, wow.
This is the funny part when I see them. Yeah. Instead of keep it on their lap and keep it discreet, it's all right. But that just looks weird like this, with your hands up in the air.
Yeah. I still want one. I just want to put that out there.
It will be a game changer, I think. I mean, sometimes when I'm working most of the time when I'm working from home, I'm sat on my sofa, and I just sometimes think it would be great if the screens are everywhere in the room rather than me having to concept on my desk.
My favourite one was there was a fellow on public transport. It was an aeroplane. I think it was a plane or a train. I can't remember. And he had the headset on. And obviously, wherever he looked, these massive screens. And I was just like, okay, this is the way forward, right? For me, anyway, that was
I've seen that as well. But then I've seen some people doing the same thing, but they don't know that there's a setting in there to make the screen static.
Okay.
And what they've done is when they've sat in a car or something, and they've put the screen on, and as the car's driven off, the screen they've seen it, and then they can see it left behind them. Yeah, they've just driven past it.
That's quite funny, actually. Sham, what's your second story?
Another good one I found is it's an artificial intelligence. Microsoft backed and by OpenAI, so I can't get my words out, and it's through the same company as ChatGPT as well. It's called Sora, and basically it's, I don't know if you remember WALL-E. Did I say, is it DALL-E? Sorry, not WALL-E.
There's me. I'm going to Disney World or something.
Not Short Circuit and all that. No, not WALL-E. No, no. I meant DALL-E. It was a AI text to image. Yeah. So now they've Sora is a similar thing where it's text to video. So at the moment it's not as advanced yet, but I've seen the initial video. My God, it's mind blowing. It only does a 1 minute videos yet so far, but these are ultra realistic, and I've seen ones of like a grandmother doing a birthday, and at first glance, if you don't know you're looking at AI videos, you don't know, and it looks perfectly fine. But if you look carefully, you can see certain things. Like, for example, with AI, these AI video creators and image creators, they struggle with human hands for some reason, and the way their hands look, so that's usually a tell you can see on them as well. But it had other things like a dog is playing in the snow. It just looked so realistic. It was insane. I can imagine the amount of jobs that's going to take of people, creative content. Like there was a drone footage as well of a coast, and there's a sea, and it just looked real. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it will take people's jobs because I think it'll enhance it. So rather than it taking 10 hours to do something, you'll be able to create the content quickly. I mean, I've used Adobe's Photoshop with this. So rather than having to find images which meet a certain criteria, you can just create your own. But those things that you mentioned where the hands aren't quite right, and this
there's
particular
no sound as well yet, is there? Yeah, there's no sound with Sora.
Yeah, but it is, first of all, it is actually getting better.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
It is
So
only a year ago, remember this AI, same thing, there was a video, man, and it was that, I don't know if you guys saw that, it was that Will Smith eating spaghetti. It just looked so bad. In a year, we've come to this ultra realistic. It looks real.
Yeah.
Didn't make you hungry.
Just the whole AI side of things is getting a lot better. They're sort of fixing the hands problem. There's a system out there called Midjourney, and they're on version 6 now, and it's nearly indistinguishable.
Really,
You cannot see the difference between that and a real photograph. And in actual fact, Kanye West's new music video is completely AI generated.
Wow. What I will add as well, in terms of this as well, is that you'll notice that a lot of YouTube content out there, people are now just switching over to AI. So they're making just loads of content, uploading it, and it's just a moneymaker.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I think you had a protest from, wasn't it, actors a few months ago about this, Hollywood actors, regarding, how AI is...
Oh, that's why Sham wasn't here last week.
Okay.
He was protesting.
That's what it was.
Oh, we got Jamal saying hi to us. Great show. Thanks for listening. Appreciate that. Thank you. Joel, what have you got for us?
So my story this week is to do with passwords, and this is something that sort of ties in nicely with all the things that we've talked about, the social engineering and the phishing and everything like that. We are very quickly approaching a passwordless future, and it's going to be replaced by something called Passkeys. And essentially what it is when you put in your password to a website, Facebook or wherever it is, and you need to log into that, your password is sent across the internet to that server, and that's what logs you in. And if you use that password for Facebook, you might be using the same password for X, and you might be using the same one for Twitch, and you might be using the same one for Gmail and all that kind of stuff. So if I, as an ethical hacker, trick you into giving me your password, I've got the keys to your city. I can get in everywhere. Passkeys, though, is a solution for that which is tied into your local device, and you might be able to then use biometrics to authenticate. So again, I can't steal your fingerprint, I can't steal what your face looks like and all those kind of things. And it's actually a completely passwordless way of logging in. And you would have a different encrypted pass key that would get you into Facebook, and it would be different to the one that gets you into X, and it would be different to the one that gets you in. But you don't need to remember anything. All you need to do is, as you log into that site, your phone will ask you, "Are you logging in?" And you'll go, put your thumb on the reader, and it logs you in. So yeah, so one thing I wanted to bring up was passwordless future, and there's lots of companies out there doing it now. All the big ones, so Google, Microsoft, Apple, they've all got those kind of passkeys in place. And what they're doing at the moment is they're doing it very, very slowly. So they're sort of running it alongside their password logins. So you've got a bit of a choice at the moment. At the moment, when you log into your Google, if you've got a passkey, you can still use your password. But I do believe that over the next couple of years or so, they'll start to phase out passwords, and it will just be a
so I take it you wouldn't be able to like brute force this like you would like a text-based password or anything like that.
The reason I can brute force your password at the moment is because your password is probably made up of dictionary words. Yeah, password 123. Yeah, or your name and your year, your birth of the year, or your brother's name and his birthday, or whatever it might be, kind of thing. So not only can I socially engineer who is around you, what kind of password you might be using, your favourite football team, your favourite restaurant, those kind of things. I can profile you to try and work that out. But what I can also do...
A lot of people give that information out on Facebook for free anyway.
Exactly, yeah. So what we call... When people do that, we call that open source intelligence gathering. We call it OSINT. Yeah. So that, again, as an ethical hacker, that's something I can do. I profile people to understand how they work, what passwords they might use. But we can also launch, for brute forcing, we would launch what's called a dictionary attack, which takes all of the kind of, when you talk about, we hear about these websites that get hacked and they have like a massive data breach, and you, on the dark web, you will then have a list of passwords. Well, those passwords then get put into what we call a dictionary, And we can use that password dictionary to try and guess people's passwords. And they can be made up of many, many thousands of passwords that people have used in real life, and we're all creatures of habit. And I want to use one password for everything because it's easy to remember. So the passkey kind of just removes all of that. I can't phish you for your passkey because it doesn't exist in your mind. It's your finger, it's your face, and that kind of thing. So it's a really interesting future.
Just wanted to add to that. Sorry, I just wanted to add. It just reminded me as well for people that don't know about this. There's a site you can go to. It's called Have I Been Pawned? I think.
Have I Been Pawned?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Pawned.
PWNED.
NED. I think it is pawn. And basically, you can go in there. You can punch in your password that you have that you think is secure, and it will tell you on there if that's been part of any breach, any data breach.
Yeah, so it's your email that you put in. Say you'd put in.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, emails were
gmail.com.
Yeah.
Shams put his password in.
There's one for.
Wait a second. I just want to just check something. Wait a second. Just want to understand that you're adding your password to the dictionary for that website. That's what's happened here.
No, it's email.
Brilliant.
My memory's not the best, but yeah,
okay.
So, like email. Sorry, yeah.
That's my God.
So if your email's been part of a breach. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's brilliant. We want to hear your thoughts on these tech stories. Have you been sharing your password online? Let us know.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
I don't think nothing's going to beat that. Shams had the two best stories of the week, and two best stories of the week, and best opinion.
I'm a password for free, yeah?
Password for free. I think you should create your own website. Okay, what have you got more?
I've got loads, but the one that I wanted to bring up was NVIDIA's launched their GH200 Grace Hopper desktop supercomputer.
Explains their share price.
What the hell is that? The actual the unit is £43,000, so it's out of the reach of most people.
Oh, but you're getting two, are you?
I'm getting 5.
You're getting 5 plus 5 Apple Vision Pro headsets to go with them, right?
No. It is really used for tuning large language models. The technology that's used for ChatGPT, for genome sequencing, but also applications where you don't really want to send stuff over the internet. So any kind of sensitive things that you're doing, or outside of the a cloud environment. So that it will have its usage, and plus this computer is not a server type, so you can actually easily it's quite portable, so you can, just like a normal desktop computer, but it's just amazing how much power this thing has, and how much, it's 576 gig of RAM.
Wow!
Go on, give me some more stats. Come on, this is
Are we talking
that's
petaflops
that's
Are we talking
insane.
petaflops of processing power?
It's a 72 core NVIDIA CPU, 72 cores. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, and you're getting 5 of these. I just want to know, if you did have 5 of these, what everyday thing would you do?
I think I'll have the NSA on me if I had 5.
Watch YouTube.
Do you know what?
It's not for playing games or normal use. This is
But you could, if you wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
You could be like this one person in the world who goes to a developer and says, create a game and I will play it on the most ultra settings you can imagine, and then just show it off, do like an event, and you're showing it all off, and then everyone else has normal computers and everyone else's graphics are just lower.
Crypto mining bit.
Yeah, actually.
Ooh, yes.
Very good. I like that. But yeah, so there we go. We've got gaming, we've got crypto mining.
That's why it's so hot in this studio.
Yes. Yeah, someone's machine is blowing out a lot of hot air, and it definitely isn't mine. I'm fanless. Oh dear, that's fantastic. So we've had taxis, we've got... That's got to be one of the most expensive computers you can buy.
Yeah, I've seen expensive gaming computers like £10,000 or £20,000 or £15,000, but they're ridiculous. But this is I can see the application for this. Yeah,
crypto mining,
like a server level, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's more for scientific use.
I think Joel could make a good use of this.
For hacking into something.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, look, we're almost at the end of the show. It's gone by so quickly. I appreciate everyone's opinions. Thanks for coming in tonight, Joel. Really appreciate that as well. Let's take a moment to reflect on today's topics. We spoke about cybersecurity and the do's and don'ts and the threats that are out there in the world. We also had an interesting story from Sham, where we had a couple. I really liked the taxi idea. That was great. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. So just want to say thank you for tuning in Tech Factor. We appreciate all of you, and we'll see you next time back on the Tech Factor in a couple of weeks. So take care.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
For the top pizza in Peterborough, visit Top's Pizza, established in 1988 for delicious pizzas with freshly made dough daily. View the extensive and mouth-watering menu online at topspizza.co.uk, then choose from traditional tasty toppings, something different, or create your own with fresh 100% halal meats, salads, veg, and a great choice of sides too. Call into Top's Pizza, 52 Broadway, PE1 1SB. Call 01733 913 775 or order online for delivery or collection.
Worried your tenants could stop paying their rent during this cost of living crisis? Next Move Estate and Letting Agents are offering landlords 12 months rent in advance. You'll get your rent paid for the whole year in advance. No strings attached. Too good to be true? It really is that simple. So get in touch with us today.